All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome on into the Auburn Sports Forum, the Auburn Sports Channel from a fan's perspective. I'm your host, Jeremiah Schumann. Thanks for coming on in today. Today, we're going to talk a little Cam Coleman. The reason we're going to talk about Cam Coleman because I think that he was really in a spot to do some good things, and I mean, just a bad ending to the story. So I figured this is my final episode on Cam Coleman, and I just wanted to kind of get my opinions out there and see what everybody had to say about it. But basically, I just want to get something straight right now. Um, this is not hate. This is not bitterness. This is not jealousy. This is not any of that. Um, this is about what Cam Coleman had the opportunity to have, in my opinion, and turned that away. He didn't. When Cam Coleman was here and then he left. He didn't leave a school. He left an opportunity on the table that I think he's going to regret down the road. And I guess just in order for me to make this a little clearer, let's start from the beginning. So Cam Coleman comes out of high school, Phoenix City, superstar, has the chance to be elite, has the ability to be elite, comes out of high school, has better building blocks than the normal wide receiver, and basically can do anything he wants. The sky is the limit with this kid. So he goes to Texas A&M or commits to Texas A&M. Jimbo Fisher gets fired. Marcus Davis snags him up, brings him to Auburn, right next to his house, right next to his family. Was ecstatic. He was ecstatic. He was happy here. And then let's just be honest. We had a dud coach. We had a dud situation with the quarterbacks, which now looking back on it from what we know, probably wasn't the quarterback as much as the coach, but he was dealt two bad seasons. Let's just put it that way. Cam Coleman was dealt two dud seasons, and that sucks. When you're a superstar like him, you don't want dud seasons. You want to be putting your abilities and your game on tape for NFL and everything else. And that's what Cam Coleman wanted. And we failed him there. I mean, as a fan base, as a school, we need to understand that when you get a guy like this, I mean, look at the Bo Nixes of the world. We let them down. And we've let Cam Coleman down. But I think in this era of NIL, you have an opportunity to do something a little different, and Cam Coleman was in that boat. Now, we all know Cam Coleman was going to go to the NFL or is going to go to the NFL. We understand that the NFL already knows he's coming. So there's really nothing that you're going to do to ruin that opportunity for him. It can only be better. Like you can only get better from here. Minimally you're going to the NFL, but then if you put really good stuff on tape, first round, second round, bigger money. So that is on the responsibility of the school to give him those opportunities, and then it's on to him to capitalize on those opportunities. And in the first 2 years, we just didn't do that. So going into this goalish era, you have an opportunity to do something with the NIL package that makes you stand out. You already stand out. You're already elite at one thing. You need to develop in another. But at the same time, you could go into that office and be that humble kid that we know that you could be. Now, let me stop there for a second and say, Cam Coleman, as far as we know as Auburn fans, is a humble guy. He was known that on campus. Nice guy, good character, good young man. And so you would expect that whenever come time for him to make a decision to stay or go, that he would just be an upstanding dude. That's all you ask for. And so when you go into the office, when Golish is here, you go talk to him. You just hit him with whatever the truth is. And I'll go into what I think you should have done. But what you did do is that you ghosted the staff. There's rumors out here that you ghosted the staff. That's allegedly ghosted the staff. That you didn't talk to them since Christmas, then you asked to get in the portal, and then you just didn't say anything, and then you got in the portal. So when you do that to a staff, it makes us question things. Are you really the good guy, the good character guy that you're portraying and that people say you are? Are you really the the good young man, the role model that everybody says that you should be as a superstar? Like, is that, or should we, is now, is that in question? But I think in that same tone, instead of ghosting the staff, here's where I think you went wrong as a fan. I think you had the opportunity to go in that office, look them in the eye, and say, "Look, I'm Cam Coleman. I know you. I know that I'm a sought after wide receiver. Not trying to be cocky or anything, but I want my NIL evaluation, which is 1.8. So just give me 2, and then after you do that, I'm gonna sign on the dotted line, and then I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna go practice with that quarterback y'all just brought in, or that y'all are gonna bring in, Byron Brown. I heard that he eats, sleeps, and shits football. Well, I'm gonna do the same thing, and I'm gonna become the best wide receiver you've ever seen. And then next season, I'm either going to go to the NFL or you're going to double bag in my lap, and we're going to do this again. Good? There is not one staff member in Auburn that would have said no to that. Because here's what I'm trying to tell. Here's a lesson for you. And yes, I'm speaking right to Cam when I say this. As a 45-year-old man, I have learned over the years that a penny saved is a penny earned, correct? Well, you've earned a penny, a pretty one. But guess what? A penny invested is leverage. And you are at the precipice of, you've made money, and you're at the precipice of being able to invest that money right back into Auburn. And I'm going to tell you this, there is not one combination of school and fan that's better in the country than Auburn. Our fans love our players, especially when they buy in, you become the dude, and I'll talk about that in a second. But just when you're part of our family, and you were, and you lost that, you lost your way because of an agent. But you had the chance to go in there and say, hey, I've made a pretty penny here, and I'm going to invest back in this place by putting in the work, putting in the time. I mean, this is a high-flying offense. He would have fit perfectly into this. You want those highlight reel catches. You want those wide-open 70-yard bombs. Well, guess what? That's what this is. And you had the chance to say, look, I'm taking this money that I've made, and I'm investing it back into the program. I'm gonna show y'all who I am. I have a chance to leave, and I'm gonna show y'all I ain't leaving. I'm not gonna leave, and I'm gonna invest back in here. And guess what? That's leverage, because there's not one person on this staff that wouldn't have invested in you. That's leverage. They would have built a good chunk of this offensive plays around you. I mean, look what happened before Golish got here. When Hugh Freeze screwed it all up and then he left, what did DJ Durkin do? Him and Derek Nix came out and said, hey, we need to give our superstars the ball. We need to get Cam Coleman the ball for these last 3 games. Yeah, he lost all 3 games, but you had a lot of highlight reels those 3 games. You had a lot of big moments those 3 games. So people are willing to invest in you. And you could have easily said, hey, I'm here. Invest in me. That's leverage. That's huge. That's more than just making $1. That's making a brand. That's connecting yourself to a college, locking in and becoming something, and then leaning on that for decades. But yet this hot shoe agent of yours got in your head. He got in your head. He told you, hey, man, they're offering you $2 million, but you're worth $4 million. I got all these connections in Texas. Let's go over here and get this old money. And he just kept chirping and chirping. I couldn't even imagine what that sounded like. And then you believed him. Instead, you're just an employee. You chose not to be a business owner. Employees get paychecks and then go to the next station. Business owners invest, get big money back from their investments, and then reinvest. Well, you're an employee now. So hang on a second. Let me show y'all something before I continue. Let me show y'all something. The thing I wanted to talk about here is this picture right here. If I can get it to work. Sorry, I'm so screwing this up. I apologize. There we go. Here are players that stayed and dominated and had successful careers afterwards versus the ones that did not. So the ones that stayed and dominated at their school, bought in, used and turned that investment that the school gave to them. And yeah, some of these weren't in the NIL era, but guess what? The school invested in them, and then they invested back and they created leverage. Larry Fitzgerald, Calvin Johnson, Julio Jones, AJ Green, Amari Cooper. So the list goes on. And the last one's really important. And I'll talk about that in a second. Jeremiah Smith. But then look at these other guys. These are guys, Demetrius Robertson, Jadon Hazelwood. Anybody remember him? I mean, these guys jumped around, lost their leverage, and have nothing to show for it now. And that's what you did. You listened to your agent, and now you're just out in the portal, hoping to get a big paycheck, and just going to become another wide receiver. And it's so sad because you're so talented. And to kind of finish up what I'm saying here is you had the opportunity, possibly, depending on how you reacted, to become a superstar at Auburn. You chose Auburn. Auburn chose you. Auburn's not blocking you. Auburn wasn't blocking you. We've got this new coach that's bringing in this high-flying offense that would fit you perfectly. And we're not blocking you. We were about to unleash you. And you chose just a check. And I just think that that's really sad. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is a little bit more proof for you that that you made the wrong decision. Little wide receiver that everybody compares you to is Jeremiah Smith. Jeremiah Smith, Ohio State wide receiver number 1. 1,400 yards, 87 receptions this season. He doesn't have a championship. And he's also not in the portal. He had a good situation, good offense, good quarterback, 1,400 yards, 14 yards of reception. And he's happy. He's making a brand. He's not going anywhere. He's always going to be known as Ohio State wide receiver Jeremiah Smith. And he's going to use that to his benefit for the rest of his career and into the NFL. Like when they announce him at an NFL game, Jeremiah Smith from the Ohio State. What are you going to say? Cam Coleman from 8 different places. Well, guess what? I said 87 yards, 87 receptions, 1,400 yards, 14 yards reception for Jeremiah Smith. Well, you had 58, I believe, receptions for 600 or 800 yards. Don't remember which. It's somewhere around there. But it was 12 yards of reception. So you're right on the heels of a guy that has a perfect situation. And your situation is not perfect. So all you can do is go up. But yet, this guy over here is telling you, jump in a portal. You're worth more. You got $2 million. Let's just say, I know you're not going to get it, but let's just say you get your $4 million. So you got an extra $2 million this year. Well, guess what? You're going to go next season. Are you going to jump? You're going to give you another bag. You're going to the NFL. All you've gained is a little extra money in the short term, but leverage is for long term. It builds legacy. And I bet you that agent did not talk about longevity, didn't talk about building a brand, didn't talk about, as I just said, legacy, didn't talk about becoming elite and moving on and leaning on that for the rest of your career. He just said, let's get some extra dollars right now. So I just think it's sad. I think you made the wrong decision. And I'm not even saying I'm wanting you back. I'm not saying that. Now, there are rumors out here. There's rumors everywhere. But I think you're finding out in the portal just how ruthless of a business this is. We've heard the reports from people saying your family thought you were given a raw bill of goods by getting in the portal. Hell yeah, you were. You got an agent that is worried about nothing but money. Absolutely, you were sold a raw bill of goods. But you got in the portal and you realize this isn't going to be as easy to get this 4 million. You probably should have just took the 2, locked in, and you could be enjoying time with your new teammates right now. But nope, you're in the portal begging for dollars like a beggar. You and the other guy that I'm going to make a video about. So I just want to say, I hope it works out for you, my guy. I do. But you had the chance to build leverage. You had a chance to build a brand. You had a chance to take it to the stratosphere, and you traded all that in for a few dollars. So I hope you enjoy your money. I really do. I'm not saying that you need to come back. I'm saying you need to do the right thing. I think that with someone that's uber talented as you, just do the right thing. It all works out. Don't listen to these greedy people that have no interest other than to get a paycheck off of you. Think about your family. Think about you. Think about your legacy. Think about everybody that's close to you that matters. What would be the best for them? Not what's best for you right now, not what's best for your agent right now, what's best for your family. And what that would be is I've got the talent to become an elite wide receiver and build a brand that would last a lifetime. And I'm going to trade that all in for subpar extra money and jump around and just become a standard run-of-the-mill wide receiver. And before I get off of here, I understand you're going to have some good moments. I get that. And I understand you're going to make some dollars. But we're talking about lifelong longevity. Frank Thomas, Bo Jackson, those guys have built a legacy. They've built leverage. They can do anything they want at Auburn. You know, they've got a brand. And I don't want to talk this one into the dirt, but I hope it works out for you because we really cared about you. And now someone else is going to have to act like they do. So if you do me a favor, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, click the bell so you know when I upload videos like this. And until next time, War Damn Eagle.